Good evening, everybody. I wanted to talk to you about when the narcissist realizes that you can live without them. That after discard, it's been a couple of months, 2 to 3 months, maybe 6 months, usually around a 6-month period, because their cycles run for about 8 weeks to 3 months, 4 months. Usually their cycles don't go past 4 months, and then they just go right around in a circle again. And they usually have several sources of supply, right? So they have enough sources of supply that, you know, when you kind of put them on no contact, they may not even realize it for a while, and they're gonna hit up the sources of supply that are easiest, the ones that come at them first, the ones that are real thirsty or whatever. So then at some point they're gonna run through all those sources of supply, and it may take them 6 months to get through them. But when they do finally come, they got to come find you, you see, because you went no contact and you still with it. And now that rumination's coming off of you. You know, now you're starting to be able to think right. And you know, that spell, you cast that spell down, and that spell's it's off you, but you're still dealing with the rumination. But see, that's falling off you too, because after 6 months no contact, this is when that spell will start to, or that rumination will start to fall off you totally. You'll start to be, you know, eased up on that. And see, the narcissist knows that they got to come back in before you heal. But now it doesn't hit them for a lot of times. They can stay preoccupied, but now they're starting to realize that, you know, you went no contact and they haven't heard from you. And now they got to come get you, because now they actually need you, because they ran through everybody and it's your turn. But see, you're not having it. And a lot of times they would like to come back sooner, but you've kind of turned down their soft hoovers, the ones that they came at you with, the little soft ones, you know, the heat checks. But they thought by now you'd come back. So now they're starting to stalk you, and sometimes after a 6-month period and you still turn them down, they start to get obsessed with you because you were the primary source of supply. And the primary source of supply is a major source. It's 80% of their fuel. But the thing is, you know, you realize that you are high value. And a lot of times when you get with the narcissist, they bring you down to their level. They bring you down to that anxiety. They bring you from here down to here, and down to here. They got to step on you. But at this level is the narc level. They got to bring you down to their level so that they can control you, you know. And to do that, they have to get you in anxiety, depression, fear. They got to get you in doubting yourself and needing to go to them. See, the one that inflicts all of the pain on you, and the one that puts you down, the one that destroys you, so to speak, is the one that you're going to go to for answers. You know, that's kind of typically how it works. This is how this stuff works. And so that's part of the reason why they want to get you down too, because they got to put you down continually. The accuser of the brethren, right? So when they do this, then they get control over you. And then you have to go to them for the answers to the problems that you're dealing with, you know? And at that point, when you do follow out the plan that's put into place, you're going to be in big trouble. And it will perpetuate cycle after cycle with them. But when you understand and you know who you are, you know that you have truth and justice, and these people don't. A lot of times they are built on a construct that is from their childhood, toddler type defenses. But then the construct turned evil, and it got orchestrated through demonic activity. These individuals have very little control, or they do not know exactly maybe what's controlling them, but they got to know something's different about them, and it's not right. They operate on a level that's not even humanity. But a lot of times they can't handle it. They just are not used to somebody that refuses them, because see, you can live without them. You don't need them. The only thing they did to you was pull you down. This is a life that we're living is of precious time, and you don't need to be living it with somebody who is totally devaluing you and destroying you every day while you're trying to help them. At some point in time, you got to let it go. And maybe you've decided to let it go by now. And the narcissist now knows that they need you. They can't live without you. They need your fuel. See, they get impulsive a lot of times, and they jump to a new source of supply. A lot of times they don't last but a few weeks, maybe a month or so. And it's because they have these desires that run rampant in them. It's a greed and a need for supply. They're very impulsive. That's what a child would do. And they're very reactionary. They're built on reaction. That's how they get their fuel. And they like to be needed and wanted and fawned and told how great they are in this God status that they believe in. But the narcissist really has no value. And it's because they chose to go down this path. You're the one with all the value, and they draw it off of you. They draw all of your value off you through your personality, your traits, your mannerisms, everything, that all of your goodness. They pull that fuel off of you, and when they knock you down, the malignant ones especially, when they run on a sadistic level, which means that they don't feel that they're elevated until they can knock somebody down. See, they got to hurt people for them to feel that grandiose self that they feel. Now, this is textbook. If you go into the textbook, you're going to find that they got this way because, see, the regular narcissist is a little bit different. When you get into the malignant, though, they had to become subservient to their evil caregiver, okay? And so they got to a point to where they had to give or submit themselves to the caregiver, but the caregiver was evil and sadistic. So then they build this grandiose self to where they don't need anybody, right? That they build this construct, this fake construct, this fantasy as a small child, and they build it, they say, for the trauma that the caregiver's putting on them, and that when you're perfect, then you don't need anything. And that's where they get this grandiose self from. The sadistic side comes from the caregiver that was sadistic in the nature of taking care of them, that they were evil, and so now they submit themselves to that caregiver, and then they become just like that caregiver. And so that's where they get to a point to where they only feel superior when they put people down and hurt them. They get joy, or not joy, but they get power and control, which gives them adrenaline. They traded love for adrenaline, y'all. And that's why they run in these cycles. They run in these cycles because that's to the point to where they're going to get, the longer you're with somebody, the more you're going to get down to the road of intimacy and love and empathy. So this is where the construct cuts them off, tells them they got to leave. They got to leave because this is getting to a point to where it's going to get emotional for them, or it's going to get them into a construct. They're going to get into their emotions, and they can't have that. And so the construct makes sure that there's self-sabotage built into it. So that's why the first time that you got to be all perfect or all evil. So the first time that you do them wrong or you say no to them, you're on devalue phase, which means they're already in the second part of the cycle, ready to get to the next source of supply that they got to jump to. And that happens early in, love bombing, really. And that's why they can only go short terms with you and everybody else, because the longer they go with somebody, that empathy starts to play on them, and that that intimacy starts to play on them, and they can't have that. They cannot cultivate that. So they have to devalue, discard you, and keep it moving. And so if you give me a like, subscription, and a thumbs up, y'all, but this is how it works. They are sadistic because they become like their caregiver. But, they could get this way because everything that happens to them, see, when you get older, you build these boundaries and stuff, and you have good ways of dealing with it, with situations that come into your life. But these guys, they get to a point to where as a child, it was like every little thing that they had needs for wasn't handled correctly. So they went down this road in a lot of ways. They might have had a wet diaper that wasn't changed right away. I don't know. It could be because they wanted ice cream. This is how it works. And maybe these things didn't get solved quickly. And so then they're sitting there freaking out, screaming and crying. And this is the kind of stuff that turns them into who they are, really. I mean, neglected to some degree. But a lot of times there was a sadistic caregiver that was taking care of them. And in a lot of ways, the only thing that they felt like they could do was submit to them and then become them. And then they become them, and then they also feel that in their grandiose self, they don't need anybody. If they're perfect, then they don't need to feel anything. And the thing is when they trade that love and empathy and for that sadistic side, see, they traded it. It wasn't just like they still have it and they gave up. They gave up something to get something. They gave up the love and the empathy for the sadistic evil and the pain that they put on people to get joy. Okay, and they also traded in love for adrenaline. But when they did that, it causes them to walk down an evil construct. They can't live any other way, and they can't even see it in you, because everybody that they view is only from the level that they can see. So if they don't feel love and empathy, then they don't believe that you're truly showing it either. They believe that you're faking and using them, so they can't see what that they have refused themselves. So if you can give me a like, subscription, and thumbs up, love y'all. Peace. Till next time, soldier up.